Hello, parents. This is Miss Hammond coming from you from room 104, and I just had a great discussion about your homework assignment last night, and we had some great stories and laughs to share about parents trying to do the fifth graders' homework. So we're going to go over the right answer with you today. And the reason I wanted you to try this is so that you could see the challenges and obstacles that these young ladies are having to face, and so that you can be very proud of them. This isn't a difficult task, and they are doing an amazing job and showing great perseverance in learning to write constructive responses. So let's get started with the problem. Number 5, Noah solves the problem 2/5 plus 3/5. He says the answer is 1 1/3. And Eric argues that 2/5 plus 3/4 equals 5/9. Your job is to determine which student is correct and justify your answer. So first thing we're going to do is actually solve the problem for ourselves so that we can determine who is correct. So I'm going to rewrite the problem, 2/5 plus 3/4. Now, we know that we cannot add these two fractions together because they do not have the same denominator. They're not cut into the same number of pieces, so we cannot fairly and equally add them together. So we have to find a number that the 5 and 4 have in common. And that number is 20. So I need to find the equivalent fraction of 2/5 that has a denominator of 20. The equivalent fraction will not change the value of 2/5. We are just trying to cut it into different pieces to have a denominator of 20. So what do we do to get from 5 to 20? We multiply by 4. So we must do the same thing to the top, the numerator. 2 times 4 is 8. So 8/20 is an equivalent fraction of 2/5. For the next fraction, we have to find an equivalent fraction for 3/4 that has a denominator of 20. So what do I do to get from 4 to 20? I'm going to do the same thing to the numerator. 3 times 5 is 15. Now I can copy down my denominator and add my numerators. 8 plus 15 is improper fraction. So we are going to simplify this into being a mixed number. A mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. I'm going to do this by writing it how I say it. 23 divided by 20. So 23 divided by 20. So now I ask myself, what times 20 will give me close to 23 without going over? 1. 1 times 20 is 20, and I have 3 left over. I have 3 left over out of 20. So we can see right away that Noah has the correct answer. And Eric made the classic mistake of just adding your numerators, adding your denominators without finding the denominator that they have in common first. But we have to put this into a constructed response. So first step is to identify what the question is asking you. So the question is asking me to determine and we don't make this up in our heads. We go right back to the printed problem and find what it's asking. It asks which student is correct. Okay, next step using the 4-square model is to describe what you know about the problem. So I'm going to say, I know that Noah found a common denominator in order to solve the problem, while Eric simply added the numerators and denominator. Step 3 says to represent your thinking, which we've already done at the top of our paper. And step 4 says to actually answer the question providing evidence. So I'm going to say, Noah solved the problem correctly because he determined the equivalent fraction of 2/5 to be 8/20, and the equivalent fraction of 3/4 to be 15/20. When added together, he found the answer to be 1 whole and 3/20.